Do you want to hear a joke? Why did the comedian cross the road? To deconstruct the nature of the gag, of course. OK, not funny, but it's kind of what happened when Jimmy Carr offered to tell us 5 interesting things about the joke. He's the author of The Naked Jape, a book all about the history of the gag, so he should know.
Analysing humour is like dissecting a frog. Few people are interested, and the frog dies. E.B. White. I realise that's not a great quote to start a short film analysing jokes, but here goes. 5 interesting things about jokes. Your sense of humour is like your sexual preference. It's a very individual thing that defines you, that's inherent to your identity, but about which you have very little control. The type of jokes you enjoy, like the type of thing that turns you on sexually, is not a decision you make, rather a reflex action. You might want to be a heterosexual, into high-minded satire, but in fact, you're into S&M, and you like silly jokes about animals. You don't get to choose. What kind of jokes do you like? Childish? What's orange and sounds like a parrot? Carrot. Surreal? 2 muffins are on the grill. One says, "Oh, it's hot in here." The other one says, "Oh my God, talking muffin." Anthropomorphic. What did the slug say to the snail? "Big issue, sir?" Ironic. I'm a compulsive gambler. My wife has left me. How can I win her back? Political. I'd kill for a Nobel Peace Prize. Adult. How do girls get minks? The same way minks get minks. Gross out. How do you make a dog drink? Put it in a blender. There's no wrong or right. If you laughed, it was funny. If you didn't, then it wasn't. Some people find me funny. Some people find me sexually attractive. There's no accounting for taste. All jokes are the same. I mean, they're not. There's an almost infinite variety of executions, but they all work in exactly the same way. Basically, it's the sudden revelation of a previously concealed fact. Bit more explanation required? Right you are. Simply put, it's setup, punchline, laugh. The setup forces you to make an assumption, and the assumption you were forced into making is shown to be erroneous by information imparted in the punchline. You're surprised and delighted and relieved, and you laugh. Here's an example. Setup. I'm a fairly modern man. I've got no problem buying tampons. Fine. Have you all made assumptions regarding the point I'm making? Right, good. I'll recap the setup before the punchline. I'm a fairly modern man. I've got no problem buying tampons, but apparently they're not a proper present. See? The punchline made you realise the assumption you made about me doing the shopping was incorrect. I wasn't buying groceries. I was buying a gift. Surprise. What's the oldest joke in the book? I've done quite a lot of research into jokes in my time, and the oldest joke, well, I was in the barber's and the hairdresser said, "How would you like your hair cut?" I said, "In silence." The first recorded telling of that joke was in a Greek text called Philogelus, or the Laughter Lover, put together in the 4th century AD. There is a dark side. Telling a joke is a very bonding thing. Telling someone a joke is a way of saying to another person, "I like you, and I want you to like me." Which can be a little candid and awkward. Much easier to say all that with a joke. Which might explain why in Britain in particular, jokes are of such importance. What makes Britain great is our ability to laugh at ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I mean other people. And when I say laugh, I mean invade. We share jokes with friends and family, and they give us a warm sense of belonging to a particular group. Of course, the shadow side of this, the less palatable side, is that very often this reinforcement of group identity is at the expense of another group. Still, where would we be without a sense of humour? Germany? The basic rules of telling a joke. Pick your moment. There's a time and a place, and there'll be other funerals. I know it sounds obvious, but you should know the punchline before you start. But don't start with it. Start with a setup. Keep it short, unless you're Eddie Izzard. One man's surreal flight of fancy is another's rambling, incoherent humiliation. If you are Eddie Izzard, as you were, loving your work. Enjoy it. It's only a joke. If you're all tense and competitive about it, and your entire self-worth rests on the laugh you receive, you won't enjoy it. But maybe your borderline personality disorder indicates you could tell jokes for a living. Join us.